Jeez, I'm already streaming since half an hour. What the fuck? I haven't got nothing done. Yeah, luckily there's only 4 IndyCar races in the whole game. I think I said that just a few minutes ago, but there's only 4 IndyCar races. And IndyCar is by far the worst, so once we get those out of the way, there's a lot less to worry about. But yeah, there's a lot of bullshit like this in this game. But for the other vehicle types, it's much easier to avoid. Try a mainstream... What does that mean? What is a mainstream car? You mean non-Indy car? That's what I'm driving right now. These are fine. Sports cars are good. Oh, Oh, I get it. Oh, it's a pun on Indy. Oh, right. Oh, I get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, right now I'm doing a mainstream car. Oh, that one went completely past me. I didn't even realize that. Just for the record, the vehicle type is Indy with a Y at the end. And I didn't think about that's the same pronunciation as indie music or something. Inferior German brain. Damn, dude. Cut me some slack. I'm playing a bad video game. Come on. There's more indie bands than The Strokes. It can play those as well. Strong independent car, do I need no driver? I mean, there's a driver in here. So I guess... I mean, this is not an IndyCar, but the IndyCars do have a driver, so that doesn't work in this game, unfortunately. This is not Burnout Paradise. This is worse than my usual gaming choices. Block Party? Is Block Party an indie band? Does Block Party count as indie? Do the Strokes even count as indie anymore at this point? The Strokes are like a world superpower for rock music at this point. Is that still indie, or does indie just like denote the style and not the reach a band has? I don't fucking know. Indie is such a weird label. I don't know what it means. The most mainstream indie band. I mean, they're pretty cool, not gonna lie. I like the Strokes, but at this point I'm just wondering how the word indie even works anymore. But yeah, I get it. It's like a specific type of rock music, but why is it called that? Yeah, probably. Probably just like a historically grown term or something. The best-selling album from independent label. That's Smash by The Offspring, isn't it? On Epitaph Records. Yeah. Chumbawamba deserved those 10 million? I agree. Actually, Top Thumper probably has 10... I don't know, Top Thumper probably sold a shit ton. but none of their other albums did. I'd imagine Top Thumper has a shit ton of sales. Oh my god. Godspeed You Black Emperor don't have any, like, mainstream radio hit single. So probably not that much. I'd imagine they're, like, a big enough name in, like, the post-rock scene to, like, live off their music comfortably, but they're probably not rich. Yeah, Apatov expanded a lot on their music styles. They also have a bunch of rap artists, which generally I think is pretty cool. If they're like, hey, okay, you make different music, but like you still fit under our like kind of like independent punk roots philosophy kind of thing. So we like you and we wanna do stuff with your music. I think that's cool. Though admittedly there's a lot of like bands on Apatov I really don't think are good, but that's another deal. Stop. Yeah, I don't like this is always like the thing with like independent and punk bands especially, like as soon as you get successful with the stuff you do, like people complain, oh, they're selling out or something, but like if you get the chance to make more money with what you're already doing, I don't think there's anything wrong with going for that. Especially if you, like if you don't change like your approach to what you're doing. Like if it's a different thing if you completely change what you're doing in order to like be more mainstream appeal or something and get like a major label sign you or something. That's something different. But if you just keep doing what you're doing, I think it's pretty natural to go for that. And especially like if you have like a message to spread with your art, if you get a bigger platform, you can spread it much easier than from some like no-name indie label that nobody knows. So I would never blame like an artist for like going on like a major label or anything. Like that just makes sense. And I actually think it's good, like generally speaking, because if I think the artist is good, I would want them to make money off their art, and I would want them to be able to spread their art further. Just how I see it personally. The Suffer and the Witnesses is a fantastic album. Yeah, success doesn't equate to selling out, I agree. But a lot of people, especially like in like indie and punk communities, see it that way. Which is really annoying. But alright, I gotta really focus now. This game is like really hard. I've been just like casually talking for the past 2 races, but this game is real shit, so I unfortunately can't keep that level of conversation up. So I'm terribly sorry about that. I gotta not look at chat for like the duration of these fucking races. Okay, I did this turn right that time. Gotta be so careful to not hit any of the other cars. And if you do, I think it's better if you release the accelerator actually. But sometimes you just get fucked anyways. That guy was perfectly on the line. Okay, but I spun out once, but I should still be able to catch up relatively comfortably unless more bad things happen here. You fucking piece of shit. Okay. I got back on track relatively quickly, so this might be fine still. I just hope first and second place aren't too far ahead. This game is incredible. Okay, they're really close together, so I can make this. Sometimes you get the situation where then, like, where you have stuff like this happen, and then first place, like, ends up, like, a kilometer ahead or some shit. And then it's, like, basically impossible to catch up, but this is doable now. I just need to bring it home. As I've said, the AI is like really inconsistent, and a lot of times it comes down to getting lucky with what they do. Okay, so that was the easy IndyCar race. Now comes the hard one. Have fun. Does this game have Can You Feel the Sunshine? It unfortunately does not. Okay, now the hard IndyCar race. Fucking Moscow 4. This is with the rain, so it's more slippery, and the course is also harder. Adding some extra chicanes and stuff. Okay, good start. This turn is also so hard to do well with IndyCars. It's much easier with the sports car. Okay, that pulls together. Okay, I need to release accelerator when I go through this gate, because sometimes it just flings you up in the air and you just die. Okay, excellent. Okay, this is good. But I need to, like, stay focused for the whole race and make sure I don't make any bad mistakes, because even if it's looking good right now, this can turn bad, like, within, like, 2 seconds. Don't do it. Of course. Okay, we're still close. I hate this game. Why am I playing this? Unless I get really lucky now, this is a restart. Okay, maybe. Come on, be slow. Please be slow. Be slow. Come on. Fuck you. Hey, just recently. Yeah, they are. Okay, so I just wasted like 3.5 minutes. So that's how this game goes. That's how the next 3 hours are gonna be. This is why I'm scared of this game. But it's fine. This is absolutely a track where I expect this to happen, so... It's always the fucking Indycars. This is absolutely unbelievable. Okay. Fourth. That place is not that far ahead, so we should be fine. Hopefully. Are that two? No, I think it's only one. It looked like there were two cars there. Careful, careful, careful. Okay. 0.3, fine. Oh, they're close together. Please, no shenanigans. We can do this. Home. Careful, release. Alright, second try, that's not too bad. You know, like, losing 3.5 minutes seems pretty bad, but believe me, I know this game. It's alright. Okay, now Moscow 5 and 6, you have normal sports cars again. Moscow 5 isn't too bad. Moscow 6 is really tricky because you drive on snow. But Moscow 5 should be doable, I hope. Also, there's a ramp here now. Luckily, Moscow are still relatively short tracks. I think the longest tracks are in Switzerland and Egypt, with like easily 2.5 minutes per lap. But those are luckily not as bad as the street racing ones in Moscow and Hong Kong as well. Hong Kong is slightly better than Moscow, but still not good. Not gonna lie, I'm so looking forward when I'm past Hong Kong though. Want to do some rally and off-road stuff. That was a perfect turn. Oh, and somebody crashed here, so I'm first place. Nice. Yeah, Moscow 6 is hard because of the snow, but I'd argue it's still more consistent than Moscow 4. So I hope I can get this one first try. Alright, Moscow 6. Very good. No, 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 no. This corner is where you can often catch up a lot. Because they go like very far to the outside and you can just, if you do it, you have to be careful because you can like really easily bounce all over the place if you hit that corner badly, but you can cut in between them there if you know what you're doing, if you got a good angle, and if you don't hit the wall too fast. Also, there's 2 jumps here now, which means twice as many chances for random shit to fuck you up. So that's always nice. I'm so glad that the AI is absolutely horrible at that chicane there. Such a good place to catch up or overtake them. Well, overtaking is sometimes really hard, especially with Indycars, because you're at risk of hitting them, but in cases like that, it's really convenient. Alright, we're past Moscow. That could have gone much worse, I'm pretty happy with that. Only one restart. Oh, one race I had to do twice, basically. It's more than just a restart, but whatever. Okay, next in the game menu is Egypt, but I'm skipping that for now and going to Hong Kong. Because Egypt is, to me, like the most consistent one. So I'm doing that last. Hong Kong has the shortest tracks, by the way, in the game. But still, Hong Kong 5 and 6 are really difficult. But it's nice that, you know how you always start back at 1 and work yourself up back to 6 on each new area? It's nice how you get like a really easy chill race after like the stressful ones. By the way, interesting fun fact about the mechanics of this game. This game has a left drift and a right drift, just like Sonic R. But the drifting mechanic itself is nowhere near as good as Sonic R. easy early overtakes. I'm always never quite sure how to take these sharp turns, because I always get confused because you have to take them differently depending on if you have a sports car or if you have the IndyCar. And I always get confused what I have to do. Like depending on what kind of brake you use, because there's normal brake, there's handbrake, and then there's the drift buttons. Which in this race, or with this slow of a car, don't work very well. Oh, this kind of car at least. Yeah, for sports car I'm doing handbrake and light drift. Light handbrake and tapping drift through this turn. And on sports car I just release the accelerator. On IndyCar I mean, I just release accelerator and drift. Because the IndyCar reacts pretty badly to handbrake. And the regular brake tends to make you lose control pretty easily. But speaking of IndyCar, they're back. Once again, level 3 is a very easy course. Level 4 is gonna be harder. But I think Hong Kong is more consistent than Moscow. So I hope this isn't gonna be too bad. Oh, that was rough. Yeah, they are cool. Yo, Tenebrae, thank you very much for the host. How's it going? Okay, gonna have to be really careful on this one though. Because same deal as in Moscow. If you like this, if you notice you're about to collide with somebody, if you just release Excel, you can save it sometimes. Uvu, what's this? This is a forgettable PS1 racing game. Need to not make any terrible mistake, and we should be good. Once I win this race, there's no more IndyCars for the rest of the run. Car and Driver presents Grand Tour Racing 98. Exactly. This game goes by at least 4 different names. It's the original name is Total Drivin, which is the PAL release of the game. Then there's the North American NTSC release called Car and Driver Presents Grand Tour Racing 98. Then there's a special French release that's called M6 Turbo Racing. And there's a Japanese release which also has a different name, which I forgot. But hey, no more IndyCars. We're past all IndyCar races. Nobody at the publisher consider this name is just no. I don't know. I don't know what's up with this game, honestly. But yeah, not complete freedom yet, because Hong Kong 5 and 6 are scary. You're gonna see why pretty soon. But I've practiced these a bunch, and I think I know how to approach this stuff now. But basically there's gonna be off-road coming up, which in like these kind of race cars, as you can imagine, is not too hard, too easy. The 360? No. Different off-road. This right here. So it's very easy to crash here, and also if you crash very unfortunately here, you can also fly out of the map and die. Because you land in the water or out of bounds or something. Which is very bad. But yeah, it's very easy to lose a lot of time on these sections. Because if you hit the wall, and you have like these kind of small bumps next to the wall from the grass, it just, I don't know, it's really weird. You kind of get stuck sometimes a little bit, and it's just really hard to get off the wall. You just waste so much time there. I'm not sure what 360 you're referring to, honestly. I mean, there's a 360 in every Hong Kong track, which is this upcoming tunnel right here, you piece of shit. Like this turn right here is a 360, but I don't think that's the one you mean, because that's on every Hong Kong track. Yeah, this is all of them. But yeah, the reason Hong Kong 5 and 6 are hard is because of the off-road parts. Oh. That guy was stuck there from the previous lap, okay. But the strategy I have for these sections is basically just release the accelerator a lot. Don't try to speed through here because it's not gonna work. Even like trying to drift around these turns is a very bad idea. Most of the time. I do have some catching up to do there, so I'm a bit concerned about this. That's... Making a 0.5 on this track is hard, not gonna lie. I hope this is gonna work out. The AI is really good at the Hong Kong tracks, so it's really difficult to catch up 0.5 kilometers. Still the same guy. Why is he just standing there? Okay. Also, another good thing, the AI is very bad at this specific turn. So you can always have a good chance to catch up there. Trance soundtracks. Yeah, this is like the sound of PS1 racing games, honestly. This is how they all sound. Okay, so Hong Kong 6 is basically the same course, just in the other direction. And I think the off-road section is harder in this direction, honestly. Also, it's raining, but I don't think that makes that big of a difference. A little bit, but... They all crash here, though. Gotta be careful. Okay. AI always crashes in the first turn. It's really easy to get caught up there. Yeah, honestly, I think the Hong Kong tracks, for most part, are pretty doable. But the problem is the AI is very good at those tracks as well. So it can be really tricky to win on those. But right now it's looking good. Oh god, please, please. I also once managed to catapult myself over that wall of the 360, but That only happened once, so I'm not too worried about that happening. It would be cool though if I managed to find a way to, like, if you drive the 360 downwards to skip that. That would be really cool, but I doubt that this is A, possible, or B, consistent. If it's possible, it's probably not consistent. But it would be really cool. Oh god, very dangerous. There's water down there, and if I fall down there, it's over instantly. That was rough. Not gonna lie, I'm scared. Got like over a lap to catch up. This is certainly doable, but it's... I'd rather just be ahead already. That would make this much more comfortable. Okay, first place isn't that far ahead, so this is definitely doable if I get a good mud section here. Just gotta stay ahead. Whew! We made it past the worst parts of the game in under an hour. That's amazing. Okay, so I don't want to be too loud. The rest of the game is not easy by any means, but it's significantly more consistent than the shit I just went through, so... Um, 3-hour estimate was like a best case scenario. You gotta also take into account that Hong Kong and Moscow are like the shortest tracks. So it's probably gonna be over 3 hours. But I'm not sure. Like Hong Kong tracks are really short compared to the others. Moscow are a bit longer, but still relatively short. But yeah, 3 hours estimate is like an ideal scenario, I think. It's always hard to guess when you've never done a run before, but I might be able to make like around 3 hours if everything goes well from now on. If I don't have to restart anything anymore. But we'll have to see about that. But hey, this is a PS1 game and it has rally in it, so maybe Viper wants to play it. Gotta ask him if he wants to play a terrible, frustrating racing game. But yeah, what I said earlier about the cars in this game, bring it to ESA. I could bring my PS2 next time. But what I said about the cars in this game, they're never officially named anything. Like, these cars literally have no names in the game, but this is very obviously a Renault Megane, I think. Which is a French car, but I'm currently playing the Chinese driver. But there's a French team in the game. But the French team, I believe, drives a car that looks either like a Golf or a Ford Escort. Which is a German car. There's no German racer in this game, but there's an American racer in this game. And the sports car that I drove on the last race was a Ferrari, and there is an Italian racer and an Italian driver in this game, but the Italian driver drives a Porsche. So it's like they very, very obviously take these real life cars into this game without like crediting them, but then they assign it to like the driver of a different nationality. So that's not too obvious. Like, there's the McLaren sports car that the French guy drove. But the British guy drives a Bugatti. Forgot the split. I was so talking about the cars, I forgot the race was about to end. The AI is having fun there. Now I'm having fun too. That's nice. No idea what car that is in front of me. I think it's a Toyota maybe? Toyota Celica or something. But the green one there in front of me is very obviously a Subaru. This one. No idea what... I think this is the same as the other one, the what I called the Toyota Celica. Possibly, I don't know. Looks like a generic semi-sports car. And this bright red one there's a Subaru again. Gotta be really careful with these track borders in Scotland. What do you mean, actual music? Oh, not made for the game? Really? I didn't know that. Yeah, I think there's like only like a total of 5 different songs in this game or something. So it gets repetitive pretty quickly. But that is also part of the ultimate total driving experience. Might be a bit more than 5 actually, but it's not a lot of different songs. Copyright strike? Oh, we'll see. I hope not, but I don't know. But as long as, like, the video is watchable on YouTube, I don't really care. Like, I'm not monetizing anyway, so... They can, like, copyright strike whatever they want, as long as my video stays up. Yeah, just like the copyright claim notification, like you get it in your email and you see it on the video player. Usually it doesn't affect anything if you're not monetizing your videos, so for me I don't care. I don't have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube anyway, so I can't even monetize if I wanted to. But if like the copyright claims are really bad, it might actually block your video. Like the time I uploaded my Forza Horizon run with the original music. By the way, you see this red glowing thing there in the corner? This is like an Easter egg. If you collect that, you get into like a secret bonus level. But we're not gonna do that, because that's not required for beating the game. I know like one other location for a bonus level like this, which is in Egypt. And I think there are more. There's maybe like one per area, but I'm not sure. I think you can probably find these on YouTube. I've seen some YouTube uploads of the special stages of this game. As I've said, not interested in that right now. Oh, you piece of shit. Oh, of course, ramming me and then just eat the wall. Good shit, my dude. You did it. I think I had a Need for Speed the Run locked on YouTube as well before. For like some especially bad copyright claims. You gotta be careful with these rocks as well, because if you hit them, they full stop you usually, and you have to reverse out. Oh, I tied my lap time. Nice. track splits here. I'm not 100% sure which way is faster. This one seems a little shorter to me, but I'm not sure if that's correct. I'm a very serious speedrunner, so I never timed it. You know, like any good speedrunner would do, I just went by my intuition instead of timing it. Usually they remove themselves, like usually they continue driving. I'm not sure why in that Hong Kong race the guy just stayed on the track there. Like if you fly out of the map or stay off-road for too long or something like that, you like game over and then the race is over. But usually there's like no reason to game over while you're on the track. So I'm not sure what happened to the guy in the Hong Kong race. As of this race, should be fine. Should have gone away when I make it there again. But I'm not sure. We'll see. Sometimes the AI does weird things, so who knows. Oh my god. Oh, we're both having fun here. Oh no, 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 no. Always extremely wary when some guy comes from behind and pushes me. There's like 10 million ways this can go wrong. Huh, okay, interesting. Guess that guy's dead. I would really like to catch up to first spot now. Soundtrack doesn't fit the game. This is a 90s PS1 racing game. This is like the most fitting music you can think of. Like, all PS1 racing games sound like this. So sad. Okay, Scotland 5 and 6 is where it gets actually a little dangerous, because there are ways you can fall in water and die. So I should try to not do that. Though most of the time it's not super hard to avoid, unless you get really unlucky with the AI on that specific spot, and they just push you off or something. But that usually doesn't happen. How is Roberts half a kilometer ahead? How did he do that? If he falls in the water and dies. Okay, 0.2. That's not so bad. Oh yeah, that's ramps here. If you miss the ramps, you fall in the water. And even though it's only like a very small stream, you die in it. And also they removed this fence here, which makes this turn specifically kind of scary. It's not a very hard turn. You just gotta get around it. Gekizo Grand Racing. Okay, thank you. The Wikipedia page for this game used to say like all of the different regional names for this game, but for some reason they removed it, and now it only says the European and the North American name. They removed the French and the Japanese name from the Wikipedia page. I have no idea why. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the original name for this game is Total Drivin, because that's the European name, and this game was developed in the UK. Like for the, I'd imagine for like the, isn't Car and Driver, isn't that like a magazine or something? For the American release, they probably like got a sponsorship deal with that magazine or something. Oh, thank you. Like there's another Car and Driver game. If you look up on, I once saw that game in an online marathon. I think it's just called Car and Driver, and it's like ridiculously old but still 3D, and it looks absolutely bizarre. I can recommend looking that up. I think it's like a PC game, but like very old and really weird to look at. And I believe this game was also published as like a sponsor deal with that magazine or something. So they probably did like a similar thing with the North American version of this game. Oh right, I forgot about the first Need for Speed. Yeah, yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah. That's the thing that exists. I should play these old Need for Speeds. I've played very little of them. They look kind of bad, honestly, but sort of intriguing. Or maybe not necessarily bad, but just like a little uninteresting to me, at least. But I kind of... They also have this cool, like, generic PS1 racing game kind of style that this game has, and I like that. So I should try them out. I heard they're really, really difficult there. Played Big Rigs, that's true, I did play Big Rigs. Oh boy, did I play Big Rigs. Hey Justice. Yeah, I've heard of Need for Speed Heat. The trailer looks really cool. And for like a short moment, I was actually like really hyped about the game. But then, like, at the end of the trailer, at the bottom of the screen, it said copyright Electronic Arts. And then I wasn't hyped for it anymore. Hey Zephyr, this is Total Drivin for PS1. EA ruined. I don't really trust EA making a good game at this point, honestly. I'm gonna be curious to see what the game is gonna be like, and if it ends up being good, then okay, cool. But as long as EA makes Need for Speed games, I'm not gonna be hyped about the announcement of a new Need for Speed game. If I'm being honest. As much as I like Need for Speed as a franchise, but oh boy. Woo. Cool. Pro Street and Shift. I haven't played those specifically, but they're like pretty old at this point. And I think during that time, the games they made was still decent for most part. Actually, Undercover was also around that era, and Undercover is a terrible game, but for different reasons than the current games. So I don't know. I've played a little bit of Shift. It seemed like a decent game. It's just not too much my thing because I'm not like that much into like simulation games. Can you go away? Hello. Like I'm not too much into like games that try really hard making like very realistic physics, because I don't think that's very fun. But it seemed like a decent game from what I've seen. Are you fucking serious? Can you drive in a straight line, you idiot? Jesus. I've never actually played Pro Street. I heard mixed things about it. I heard about people who really liked it. It looks like a decent game, honestly. From what I've seen, there's nothing I can really complain about that game, honestly. Looks alright. God fucking damn it. Carbon was pretty rushed, but I still really like Carbon. Carbon could have been way better. Like, it could have been, like, most wanted levels of good, probably. But I think it's still a really good game. Honestly. But it's definitely pretty rushed, but I think it's... I really like it. Also, something I find interesting is how often we end up talking about Need for Speed in my chat, even though I almost never stream Need for Speed. But I feel like Need for Speed is a relatively common conversation topic on my stream. Which is cool, I like Need for Speed and talking about it. I just thought it was interesting, because I never stream Need for Speed. I guess I often bring them up as well, because to compare them to other stuff or to just talk about them, but still, it's interesting. Ah! Fear. Okay. Yeah, I've tried Forza Horizon 1 and 2 on Xbox 360. Horizon 1, I speedran. Horizon 2, I also did one run-off, but it was a very casual run. The Horizon 1 is one of my favorite, like, racing games of that genre. Horizon 2 is alright. I played Forza Motorsport 2 and 3, I believe, but again, those are like more simulation games, and I prefer like the more arcade racer stuff, like Horizon or Need for Speed. Not really. I guess like if I get at some point an Xbox One, which I'm currently not planning to do, but just in case, I would probably get like a Forza Motorsport and try it out again. But in the past, from whenever I tried playing them, they didn't super like impress me. But I'm a huge fan of Horizon as a concept, at least. Horizon 1 is fantastic, and I haven't played 3 and 4. But they look really good from at least like a conceptual standpoint. Like, I really like this kind of like semi-legal street racing, the same way like Need for Speed Underground 2 did it as well. Like, it was street racing and was obviously not legal, but like you had like people like standing on the sides and cheering at you. You had like sponsors and stuff like that. So it was like obviously illegal, but nobody cared. And Forza Horizon kind of just feels like the same. And I think that's pretty cool. That's a cool vibe for like an arcade racer. Simcade. Okay. Hey, we're done with Scotland. Either way, no matter what Forza Motorsport is, the last time I tried it, it didn't like really capture me or anything. But I should try it again, probably at some point. Maybe I like it more. Also, I've only played Gran Turismos on PS1 and PS2. I've never played the newer ones. But Gran Turismo, in terms of like the car physics, never felt too much like a simulation to me. Like, it felt pretty arcadey in terms of the handling, honestly. Like, maybe that's just because in PS1, PS2 times they didn't have the tools to make it super realistic. I'm not sure about that. but at least those games, in terms of driving physics, I really like them. What just always annoyed me about Gran Turismo is how at some point a single race takes like half an hour. Because they insist you doing like 10 laps. Which, you know, I guess is realistic, but in terms of gameplay, I don't think that's very fun. So I always like stopped playing Gran Turismo whenever I got to like the later races, because it just always got like really tedious. Rather do long endurance races? Okay, that's fair. It's not my thing really. I'd rather have like more short races than few long ones, but I guess it depends what you like. Yeah, rip that guy. On the later Switzerland courses, they also, of course, remove these, the fence there on the side. Here as well. I like the, like, I think it's really funny, like, how in this game, like, on the harder courses, on the harder races, they just, like, remove fences on, like, literal deadly cliffs. Like, can you imagine, like, if this was real, can you imagine like the race organizers like, oh man, they're big boys now, they don't need a fence anymore. Like can you imagine just like race organizers just like actively going out of their way to remove that fence and before the race? I think that's really funny. Wait, why would they remove fences for rally? Why would you remove a fence on a literal fucking vertical cliff that goes down like 100 meters? Like, I get like if there's no fence you don't add one because that's the road there, but if there's already a fence, why would you remove it? Yeah, they do, but like this is like there's these fences here obviously already exist, like they're like cemented into the ground. And then the race organizers in this one would be kind of just like going out of their way to remove them at like deadly cliffs. I think I don't know. I like that line of thought. That race organizers are like, oh, they've grown up now. Let's let them fall into their deaths. But anyways, I'm just rambling. Wow, thank you, goat sign. Don't have to pay out winnings, that's true. I got owned by a drawing of a goat. In my video game. Can you not say that word? There's like 10 million other ways to say what you're trying to say. Okay. I wasn't talking about banning, I was just asking you to not say that word. I hate this hole. It's really easy to hit if you're coming out of that turn fast. How long am I expecting this to be? Best case scenario, like 3 hours. But depending on how the AI treats me and how I treat myself, because playing for a longer amount of time without making mistakes is hard, because how punishing this game is, it might take longer. Well, we'll see. Also, Switzerland 3 is a huge fucking mess at the start, so I need to watch out here. Okay. We're in the clear. Oh, never mind. There's a guy parking on the road. don't. The early like Switzerland tracks are really easy because you just have like really wide tracks and stuff, and no like particularly difficult turns. You got concrete floor as well. They do get a little harder though, because on the later tracks the floor's frozen and you go like some more difficult sections with like narrow bumpy paths. Yo Andy, how's it going? Yeah, it's the perfect timing. Is this how it looks at your place? Like where you live? Do you live in that cabin car over there? Cable car? No, what they called? I forgot. Or in this house over there? Do you live in these houses? Just like in real life? That's what I thought. Is this game any good? No, it's not. It is. I think it has like a lot of interesting design aspects, but it has like a lot of other things that kind of ruin it to like, or prevent it from being a good game, which is the handling is really like stiff and awkward a lot of times, and the AI can be an absolute nightmare. Because a lot of times they just like crash and block you and knock you off the track and stuff like this. So, it can be really frustrating. I personally play this game mostly because this is a childhood game of mine. And I've seen nobody else ever do like anything competitive with this game. In terms of like speedrunning or time trial, and I just kind of wanted to start doing that. But in terms of like, I wouldn't really recommend this game for to like just pick up randomly. I think it does have some interesting aspects, and if you have like an affinity for like dodgy racing games, then yeah, sure, go ahead and try it, but I wouldn't really call it a good game. Beetle Adventure Racing? Possibly. Yeah, what I really like about this game, how it combines like different styles of racing. Like right now I'm in rally, but there's also street racing and like deep off-road racing. So you go through like complete different areas around the world, which I think their design is like very stereotypical. Like they're going like really hard like on the stereotypes for these countries that you visit in this game, but I think generally speaking I think they're really pretty. And I also like basically you pick like one racing team. Right now I'm driving Zhu, the Chinese driver, who I've picked because I had the best success with this one in practice, and especially the street racing. I felt like this racing team had a pretty stable IndyCar and sports car, so I picked this. That was my priority, to make Indy and sports car races as consistent as possible. And I just like how you pick like this one team, and then you go through these different types of races, and you get like different cars that all have this one color scheme. I like that, and I also like that this game looks like it tries to be realistic at first glance, but then when you get further into it, it's just the realism just kind of falls apart a little bit, because it adds like stuff like ramps where you just jump over water, like over a river or something like that, or you drive along like a cliff next to lava. You can just fall into the lava or something like that. So I think that's pretty interesting. It's one of the tracks, so it's not the strat that you talked about before where you deactivate the HUD or anything, right? Was that Beetle Racing where you deactivate the HUD to go faster? Or something, or first person view or something like that? Oh shit. Yeah, I as I've said, I really like this game from the way from its concept, but I think it was not executed very well. Just because of, at times, extremely annoying AI, especially on street races, which I'm luckily already past, so you're not gonna see that this run anymore. Easter Island races are tricky there. You might see me struggle there. And just because of the vehicle handling, which is just not very, like, fun. Like, I've practiced this game a whole bunch in the past week, so I've gotten used to it at this point, and I know sort of decently how to deal with it. But if you're just like starting to play this game, the handling is like incredibly stiff and awkward. At least that's how I felt when I picked this game up again. Also, there's a dead guy over there. Wonder how he's doing. Also, another concept this game is based around, which is similar to Star Wars Racer, actually, is that like the tracks in the same area reuse the same parts of the track and then just like slightly alter the courses. Ooh, sub 5, nice. All the video controllers. I can't remember the last time I actually played Alderbedo, so I'm not sure how accurate that description is, but... Honestly, though, I'm starting to get pretty tired. I hope I make it through this run. It's gonna be like at least another hour, probably. Bit worried about Easter Island, because for Easter Island I actually need to be pretty focused. Easter Island is hard. Easter Island, I think, is pretty consistent if you're good at the game, but you need to pay attention to what you're doing. It's not like Moscow that is just like straight up bullshit, where it knocks you all over the place, but it's hard. Nice backflip. You see that guy do the backflip? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty close. You even get lava on Easter Island. So it's like Inferno or Fire Mountain Rally. need to catch up. I hope they both crash on this U-turn. They did not. That's unfortunate. Okay, we're getting to the end of lap 2 and I'm still 3rd place. I'm actually starting to get worried here. Getting closer. Just hope first place isn't too far ahead and I actually have a chance to catch him. Okay, there he is. Excellent. Always kind of scary because you always just see how far the person in front of you is ahead, but you don't see everyone else. So if you have to catch up more than one spot, you never know if they're like 100 meters ahead or a kilometer. But given the fact I didn't have any major crashes this race, I would have been really surprised if they would have been a kilometer ahead. Because I don't think the cars in this game rubber band, at least not particularly badly. Usually one getting ahead by like a whole kilometer or something only happens when you get caught up in like a massive crash or something. Is the AI just cheating? I'm actually not sure. I sometimes feel like they go faster than I can, so they might be cheating. But they are actually programmed to properly drive the track. I'm pretty sure about that, because they make mistakes all the time and crash a lot and stuff like that. So there's like actually some AI in the AI. But I'm not sure how exactly it works. Alright, one more Switzerland track. Yeah, I can literally drive through walls. But yeah, so far I only had to redo one race, and I hope it stays like that. Like, getting through the whole game with only one redo would be absolutely amazing. That's so much better than I expected. So I hope I can keep that up through Easter Island. I'm not worried about Egypt, really. Egypt can fuck me over if I get like really bad luck. Like, there's some things that can happen there, but in terms of like my skill and the difficulty of the tracks, I'm not worried. Like, unless some utter bullshit happens in Egypt, I should win all of these first try with no real issues. But Easter Island is gonna be hard. Easter Island 5 and 6 particularly. I hate this path here. Going up this 270-degree turn is so weird. Going downhill is fine, but up is just awful. Gonna make sure I don't fly off any cliffs, and I should be fine here. Alright, first and second place both crashed, so we're having a easy time here catching up. This guy crashed again. Or spun out, rather. Yo, Shining, how's it going? Your left ear? Is my audio fucked up? Oh fuck. I was not aware. That sucks, but not the end of the world. I'm not sure why that is there, so I don't think I can fix it quickly between races or anything. But good to know for next time, I guess. Actually, I think I had this issue before and I managed to fix it by making the audio mono. Yeah. I can do that. Maybe it's like the audio cable slipped out or something. I'm not sure where to find that option in OBS from the top of my head, but I can probably do that in the load screen. I'm not sure if that option for audio is in the OBS settings itself or if it's in the settings of the video capture device. Right-click mix advanced audio properties. Down mix to mono. Okay, I'll try to do that. It's weird, I could have sworn I had this problem once before and I fixed it. It's weird that it unfixed itself. Actually, I think I reinstalled OBS in the meantime once. That might be the issue. Not sure if I have enough time for that in the load screens, but I'll see. Yeah, the level 6 races are pretty long. Alright. Ah, there it goes. Okay, I probably fixed it now. Let me know if it's better. Okay. Last 2 countries, there are 12 races left. Fixed but too quiet, okay. I'll increase the volume then on the next load screen. Balance seems fine. Okay. Well, I'll let you and chat figure it out, and then I just do what you tell me once this race is over. Okay, so if one person says it's too quiet and one person says it's fine, then I'd rather leave it as it is, because I'd rather have it be too quiet than too loud. But yeah, thank you for letting me know about the left channel thing. But yeah, I don't know, you don't need to hear that much in this game anyways. The audio is always the same. It's the same sound effects, the same music. It's not very interesting. Yeah, I mean, for you just came in here. But I've heard these songs for the past 2 hours. And people who've been watching the whole run. So there's not that many different songs in this game, so it gets repetitive. Get sick of it in a minute. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It does get repetitive pretty quickly. Already sick of it. That didn't last long. Wait until you hear the next song. There's like a total of 5 different songs in this game. Though they're all the same style. I'm not sure if it's 5 songs or 6 songs or 4 songs, but it's a relatively small number. We are living in the future. Yeah, I think this is... like 1 and 2 are the only races with buggies in Easter Island, and afterwards we get the Dakar rallies. So like big off-road rally cars that they use for Rally Dakar and stuff. which are faster than the buggies. And Egypt, I think, has 3 races with buggies. Okay, this turn is really dangerous. Like, it's very easy to hit the right wall in that turn, and literally every time you hit that right wall, you spin around. But yeah, by the way, through that cave I just went, there was lava there. So if you ever happen to stumble into a cave on Easter Islands, watch out that you don't fall in the lava. This is the total Drivin inspired Easter Island tour guide. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I'm very grateful this game has more than one song. Still, the couple of songs it has are don't have that much variation, but there is a little bit of variation. And I'm very grateful for that. Shit. I think taking that ramp is technically slower, but it's so perfectly in the driving line that avoiding to take it would actually cost you more time. Especially if you drive that section on the next tracks in the other direction. This came out in 97. I believe. 97 or 98. I think 97. That's not good. Now they re-added the fence here. It's weird how they removed the fence for race 2, but then added back for all the other races. I think level 2 is the only one that has that fence removed on that section. I'm not sure right now, but I think it is. You're nice, Vashko. I know all about garbage runs, believe me. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, I have some catching up to do. Don't hit the pole. Stop, go away. Alright, later. Have fun. Okay, where's first place? Okay, good. I can make that up. If I don't crash into every wall, that is. No, I've never played Tekken in my life. I'm really not into fighting games. Yeah, I'm still playing it. It's probably gonna take like another 45 minutes to an hour. Relatively long game. Though I gotta admit, I'm starting to feel pretty tired. But I need to be awake for Easter Island 5 and 6. And then I guess Egypt also exists. But Egypt is easy. That's gonna bite me in the ass that I said that. Don't spin out. On Easter Island 5 and 6 you actually drive up the volcano instead of like going into the tunnel at the bottom. Hey Hypnotic, how's it going? This turn, okay. We're fine, we're fine, we're fine. There's too much AI around me, I don't like that. Not bad, nice. I'm trying really hard to not die. Alright, the floor's bumpy here now. Had some success with something. That is very vague, but I'm proud of you. Stop pushing me. Oh, panel number 1, nice. Can you send me the link? I wanna add it. You can just post it in chat if you want. Wait, I just overtook somebody. Did someone die while I wasn't looking? Yeah, thank you. I'll add it after this race. Okay. Now I just gotta keep it. Alright, see ya, Trigger. Good luck with Vice City. And thank you for watching. I have a comfortable lead, so we should be fine. Alright. I added it to my channel. If you refresh my stream, you should be able to use panel number 1. Probably need to refresh, I'd imagine. Okay, but now focus time. Those are the last tracks I would consider seriously difficult. As I've said, I think Egypt is relatively easy, but this one is... these two are tricky. And they're pretty long as well. Very good beginning of the race though. I'm just like really worried about the volcano section because it is very easy to screw up these turns because they're very bumpy. And I have to pay attention to not... Oh, it's not processed yet? Okay. Might have to wait a little then. But yeah, this section up here and the way back down is very dangerous because of how bumpy it is. It's like really easy to spin out and lose a lot of time. This turn right here is very dangerous as well, because the wall is slightly slanted, so you can very easily flip over. Also, my ear is itching, which is not good. Just gonna have to ignore that and just die, I guess. But I was very lucky with the AI in lap 1, so I have a really good position now. The steering is fine. It's just like a lot of times when you steer and brake at the same time. Like if you go in a turn and then you brake to slow yourself down, and if you like hit like a bad bump or something, it's like very easy to spin out really badly and get stuck on the wall or something. Also, speaking of turning sensitivity, fun fact to those who don't know this game, which is probably everyone who's watching right now. I'm playing this on... I'm playing this without analog controls. I have the analog button on my controller turned off. I'm playing on my D-pad, and if you're planning to play this game, for the love of God, do not play this game with analog controls. Just do not fucking do it. Do you know why? Do you know what fucking control scheme this game has on analog stick? To accelerate, you hold up the right analog stick. To brake, you hold down the right analog stick, and then you turn left and right with the left analog stick. It's a complete nightmare. It's fucking unplayable. Yeah, it's so bad. I tried just for fun to actually do a race with this. It's so bad. And it doesn't help that the steering on the analog stick is ridiculously sensitive. And the car just like completely overreacts really quickly. Like, you really gotta play this game on a D-pad, which I'm fine with. I think racing games on a D-pad work reasonably well. But yeah, if you're playing this game, don't play this with analog. It's bad. Let me tell you. I'm not sure if you can actually change the control scheme. What sadistic mind came up with that? I have no idea. Maybe they were like, hey, you know what? They just made these fancy new analog analog gamepads. The nice Dual Shocks, they just came out brand new. We should do something with them. And then they just like gimmicked the shit out of this and just try to involve the fucking analog sticks as hard as they could. I honestly think that's the reason. They were just like, okay, you know what? There's analog sticks now, let's use them. Even though it's horrible. I'm pretty sure that's the reason, honestly. Okay, very clean Easter Island 5. One more hard race. So Easter Island 6 is the same course, but in the opposite direction. And they removed the fences on top of the volcano. Which is not too bad, because that section is pretty easy to navigate, but it's gotta be a little extra careful. Especially if you have AI around that can push you. Also, this section up the mountain is a little narrower here. Like this mountain there to the left, they extended that on level 6, so that there's like a really narrow gap to squeeze through. But I think those are the only differences. And I have a lot of AI around here and I don't like that. I was hoping I could maybe be a little ahead at this point, because they like to crash on this uphill part that I just passed. But okay. That's fine. I'm just not gonna reach until I have a reasonable position in the race, because as long as AI is around, it's extremely dangerous in this game. Nope. Let's see, that's what I mean. The gimmick a short-lived trend. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like this is the only reasonable explanation for why they made this control scheme. You might be able to change it actually, I'm not sure. But it's the default control scheme and that's enough. Careful, 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 careful. Can you please crash on this uphill? You really gotta release the accelerator when you go through this left turn there. Because it just throws you all over the place if you just go too fast there. Oh shit. Careful. Shit. That's a problem. Okay, I was pretty confident in this until these two crashes happened. Now I'm not so confident anymore. Oh, it's getting worse. It's all getting worse. It's all going to shit now. Nice. Just what I needed right now. Alright, let's just take the restart and start over. Fuck. That was a time loss. Scary. I need to be really careful to not fall apart now. Because this is like the last race I'm seriously worried about. Fucking hell. This game has such an awful excuse of physics. Okay, but this is all lap 1. I can still recover this, but it's pretty bad. At least I hope I can. I had such a good attempt on my first try on this race, and now it's just fucking shit. Oh well. Just hit the handbrake here. I'll be fine. It'll make my life so much easier if I just handbrake around that turn. Okay, I hope the first place is not 10 miles ahead. I did lose a lot of time, so there's a chance of that happening. No, I can see him. Okay. Fucking piss game. Unbelievable. Don't knock me into the fucking ocean. Jesus Christ, I'm so fucking scared. Okay. We're in the clear. God damn, fuck this game. Sorry for getting audibly angry, but I went a little bit into panic mode on that last race. Okay, but the rest of the run should hopefully be chill. Egypt should be straightforward. Okay, I'd really like to catch up there at this point. I know I was all braggy about how Egypt is easy, but you can stop pushing back now. Come on, I take it back. Egypt is hard. There we go, that's what I like to see. 0.2. 0.1. How did that guy get out of bounds? To be fair, I managed to get it there before as well on accident, but still pretty funny. Use a small cut, which is very obvious, but still very beneficial. I'd like to look into this game a bit more and try to mess around and see if I can find some skips or something, or any sort of glitches. I've seen one skip for Egypt 5, where you jump over one of the dunes and go into a different section of path that you're not supposed to go on that track, and that just skips a small section, which saves like 10 seconds or so. But I haven't managed to pull it off since yet, because whenever I tried, it would just always just like treat me as if I was out of bounds, and the camera went bonkers, and I would eventually end up game overing. But there's a video of it on YouTube if you look up... Thank you. If you look up Total Drivin Egypt 5 shortcut or something. I think it's called that. But yeah, I haven't managed to pull that off yet. The only small cuts I know at this point are the ones to cut the hairpins, which at least, maybe not on this one, but at least on the later tracks are intended, because they removed the fences there. And also the AI takes this shortcut on the later tracks. The AI does not go past the fence here and take this like that, but so I don't think this is intended. But on the later tracks, when they remove the fence, it's certainly intended, because the AI does it, so... However, the AI is very bad at it, so you can always catch up there if you take the shortcut well. If you take the shortcut with a line that I just did, it's very consistent and pretty fast. And the way the AI takes it, they just kind of like jump down directly and that just launches you over the hill with a ton of speed, and you just fling into the dune at the bottom and just crash and get stuck. So if you like hop over that dune to the right more, like I do, it's very consistent, and you have no risk of flipping over and landing off-road and game overing or anything. Because that can happen if you just like cut down with a lot of speed diagonally. You can like flip over and land upside down next to the track, and the game treats that as a game over, and you have to redo the race. Actually, I'm not sure if that happens on the later courses where they remove the walls, but it definitely happens on Egypt 2 and Egypt 4, where there are the walls, where you do that cut the way I just did. If you like cut it more diagonal, you just go flying, and that can game over you. I'll point it out on Egypt 4 when I get there. Was it Egypt 3 already? I'm not sure. But you just saw on the hairpins where I cut the turn, they had like a wall on both hairpins to keep you from cutting. And I think on... I'm not sure about this track right here, actually, but on Egypt 4, at the very least, they still have the wall on top, but they removed the one on the bottom. But there's still a very high risk of if you just do that cut like too diagonally, you just flip over and land next to the track and game over, even though they removed that wall. So it's like they opened like the possibility for you to cut there, but they still kind of like added like the death, they kept like the death zones on the sides of it or something. It's kind of weird. like fly too far to the left and land between the tracks upside down, you die. But yeah, on this track you take the hairpins uphill, so... And there's a fence, so there's nothing you can cut there. I try to like use the slope of the hill to like fling yourself over these fences, but it doesn't work. You don't carry enough speed up the hill, so you just get stuck on the fence. And then the game tells you to get back on the road in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you game over. This bumpy off-road section here is, by the way, actually pretty fun once you get a decent feel for the bumps. It's like really awkward when you first play it, but you eventually get decent at it. Not gonna lie, I'm so exhausted though. I'm so glad when this is over. Yeah, I'm the first person to do a speedrun of this game. Once I have a video of a run, I'm also gonna submit it to speedrun.com. To request the game on speedrun.com, I mean. But yeah, there's no competition for this game as far as I know. This game is like on no competitive site that I'm aware of. And I haven't seen any like actual like time trials or speedruns on YouTube. I've seen like some shenanigans with this game on YouTube, but not real like actual competitive time trials or anything. So I would assume there's nobody who plays or played this game seriously. So I'm probably the first one. Yeah, I'll get the speedrun comp page up. Yeah, I really wanted to. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna play this game in the future. But I really wanted to just like get a run done, and to to set some individual level times, which I'm also gonna be... I also requested the game on Cyberscore, so I'm gonna submit... I haven't recorded any ILs for this game, but I'm gonna submit my times there once it gets added. I'm not sure how long game requests take on Cyberscore, but, you know, I'm not in a hurry. I have them written down in a doc as well, so there's no hurry. But yeah, I just wanted to get this game, like, out there on, like, competitive sites like Cyberscore and Speedrun.com and get, like, a run done in case there are other people who for some reason think about this game and be like, hey, I wonder if there's somebody else who plays this game. You see on this track, there's the fence up here, so you can still cut over here, but they removed the second fence down here, so you can just go down like this. But if you cut the fence at the top with like too sharp of an angle and you just fly diagonally down the hill, you have a very high risk of landing upside down next to the track, and then the game overs you. Yeah, I will add ILs to speedrun.com once it gets added. But I just don't have any ILs recorded myself, so until I do that eventually, I'm not gonna post my times there, but I will definitely provide the leaderboard for it in case there's interest, or in case I actually record some ILs in the future, who knows. Yo, Kuruk, how's it going? I'm good, but pretty exhausted. Because this is a long and exhausting game. Yo, Lance, how's it going? No crying aloud. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm not liking my position in the race at the moment. But it's fine, I have 2 more shortcuts that I can use to catch up. Oh my god. This is a terrible spot to spin out. Yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure what you're specifically, if you're referring to anything specific right now. I think the IL leaderboards in speedrun.com are actually pretty good. I feel like a lot of people always talk about how they're shit, but I'm not really seeing that, to be honest. But yeah, generally speaking, yeah, speedrun.com does need some functional improvements. Oh shit, that's not good. Okay. Saved. But again, largely I think speedrun.com is a really solid website. And I also gotta give them give PAC credit that he when he changed the layout of the website, which was a very controversial move, understandably, when he did that, he also, it seems, put the site on a better server, so it doesn't have the performance issues anymore, at least not nearly as bad as it used to be. So that definitely improved a lot. Yeah, no, I know you were referring to that. I meant if you were referring to any particular lack of functions, because we just spoke about the IL leaderboards, or about IL leaderboards in general, and then you said something about functional improvements for the site, so I assumed you were referring to IL leaderboards, especially because a lot of people criticize the IL leaderboard on speedrun.com, so I thought that's what you were talking about. But yeah, as I've said, the site does have a bunch of features that could be improved. But I think the IL leaderboards are actually good. It's an unpopular opinion, but I think they're good. I have no complaints. I'm honestly not sure. I just like in the past, I'm not sure if it's still so much of a thing, but in the past I've heard people complain so much about the way the IL leaderboards are set up, but I never really understood it. I just like remember, I'm not sure how much it still is, I can't speak. I don't know how much it still is the case, but I just remember seeing like tons of people always complaining about the IL boards, but yeah, I never really understood the issue behind them, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, he did add back some of the customization options, which is nice. Yeah, that would be a good addition, Andy. I agree. Also, something I personally really want is to be able to have different timing methods for different categories, or different timing methods for ILs and full game or something like that. Because in a lot of games that use several, like more than one timing method, you often have like some categories, or like on IL boards where you just have to leave one field blank or something, and that works, but it's just like incredibly unelegant, and it's annoying when and confusing for like new people to submit stuff, and you know the deal. I'm pretty sure everyone who speedruns and uses that website knows what I'm talking about. It's just like annoying how you set like a category for the whole game. Not a category. You set a timing method for the whole game, and that automatically applies to both ILs and full game and to every category. So if you have different categories that use different timing methods for whatever reason, but I've come across that thing in more than one speed game by now, so it's gotta be a more common issue that this is needed. You have some sort of issue with the site functionality and the need for your speed game. And, you know, I'm not... Given, like, the grand total of speed games, I'm not knowledgeable. I'm not involved with that many speed games. But even with, like, my little bit of involvement in the couple of speed games that I have, I've come across that issue several times, that you would need different timing method settings for different categories. So I think it's probably a more common issue, because I can't imagine just me running all the games only that have this issue. It's gotta be more common. There's no way that just by chance I speedrun like the 3 games in total that would need this feature. There's no way. Yeah, some like websites, it's not just speedrun.com, like a lot of websites, like big websites like YouTube, Twitter, whatever, like all sorts of websites just do this. Like they just, instead of like actually improving the site functionality, they just like churn out a new design like every year or so. And nobody ever asks for that. It's just weird. Like generally, I don't even think most of the time when a website makes a new design, I don't even think it's bad itself. It's just always weird how they always make new designs. Nobody ever asks for it, but people ask about a lot of other stuff that the site could do instead, that the site could change. But it's always just like a new design that literally nobody needs. Like that's just always what's weird to me. Like I don't even think the designs are bad. I even think like the new like design change where it removed all the customization features. Like it sucked that people lost the customization, and a lot of people put a lot of effort into designing their page as well. But you know, the design itself that Pac put in, I didn't think it was bad. I think it was pretty decent, honestly. And I also understood his reasoning why he removed those features. It's just always like, why does he do this when he could be doing so much more useful stuff? I don't know. I'm not a web developer, so I'm not sure how that stuff kind of goes, but it's a pattern that happens like on every website. People ask for improvements on the site functionality, and the people who run the site then are just like, oh, make a new design. You know, generally speaking, I'm very happy with speedrun.com, and I think I remember when I first got into speedrunning, speedrun.com was still very new, and very few people used it, and like at that time, Sonic Adventure 2 still had like a spreadsheet leaderboard, and I think it's really good that speedrun.com exists, and I'm very grateful for Pac to set that up. Like just having like a central hub for speedruns, I think is really important, that people can go to and look up speed games and stuff. I think that's great. But again, no website is perfect, and stuff can always be improved. Yeah, Pac definitely did like a really important thing by making speedrun.com. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying dock leaderboards are bad because they're dock leaderboards. Like, you can run them very well. It's just the problem that if you have somebody new getting into the game or just interested in watching, you don't know where to look. Like you're gonna have to like you either like do YouTube search and then hope that the run you're looking for happens to be on YouTube and pops up in the search results, or you just have to like directly contact people in the community to give you the leaderboards or give you info on what the record is or something like that. And on speedrun.com, like it's just like so much better for people to get into it because they just immediately know where to look. And I think that's great. Yeah, a lot of communities had like their own websites even to host the leaderboards, but and certainly did a good job with that. But I think it was like really important for the speedrun community to grow, to have like these sorts of centralized websites where you can just find everything on. Alright, final race, boys. Let's do it. I'm so ready for this to end. I had a lot of fun, but I'm so exhausted. How many stages? 32 in total. Hold on. No, 36 in total. 6 countries with 6 stages each. And yeah, right now, as I've said, I personally think the Egypt levels are the easiest by far. But before that, we had Easter Island, which really stressed me the fuck out at the end. And then there's like Moscow and Hong Kong, which I did at the beginning, which are a fucking nightmare. So I'm really glad when this run is done, honestly. The Facebook group? Oh god, that's disgusting. Imagine using Facebook. Yeah, I'm so glad I was never in any situation that required me to make a Facebook account. Dodged the bullet there. Like, I've heard of people before who said like they had to like make a Facebook account to like go in their like work group or class group or whatever. Like, that sounds horrible. Can you imagine being forced to use Facebook? Not very good at this cut right now. Yeah, you need to win to progress. Which, combined with the AI behavior and the physics, is very scary a lot of times. I have major time losses on 3 races in this run. One of them was basically me getting like ramped to the side of the track and kind of like getting stuck off-road, and then the game considered that as me being off track and I had to restart because I game overed. But the other, there was one relatively to the start of the run where I had to basically do the race twice because I just barely got second place in the end. So I had to redo that. So I lost like 3.5 minutes or something. And I also restarted like Easter Island 2, not 2, Easter Island 6 in the second lap or so that lost a couple minutes. Because I was starting to mentally fall apart. And I just made a bunch of mistakes at once and then drove into the ocean. So I lost like probably a total of 6-7 minutes because I had to redo stuff in this run. Though like 1 minute of that was the one where I got stuck in Scotland. That wasn't really my fault. And this game is stupid anyway, so I'm not too fussed about that. But no, real talk, I love this game, but it's stupid. One more bumpy section and then we're done. Shit, don't flip over. Oh, we're so close to the end. You know, I practiced this game a whole bunch in like the past week or so, and my estimate for this game was like 4 to 5 hours and a lot of pain involved, but now it's only 3.5 hours and a little bit of pain. Unless... oh boy, okay, no, we're good. No, this really went much better than I thought. Though I did have to put in a lot of work to practice and get a good chance at beating this, but we did it! It's done! First total drive in any percent run. Hell yeah. All complete.